All right. Today we're going to talk about a book that's, well, it's pretty provocative. It's called The Scientific Indictment, and it makes some wild claims. It says it's not just another theory, but more like a user manual for reality itself. So let's take a look inside and see what all the fuss is about. So right from page 1, this book really sets a tone. It basically says, hey, what you're holding isn't just a book, it's a key. And once you use it, there's no going back. You know, the veil cannot be unlifted. So it's framing itself as this one-way ticket to seeing reality in a completely different light. So what is the central charge? What's the main accusation here? Well, the book argues that our reality, the one we live in every day, is actually a kind of elaborate prison. But of course, that begs the question, who are the jailers? And why would they even bother building something like this? That's really the first mystery we've got to unpack. And here are the alleged Wardens. They're called the Archons. Now, the book is clear. These aren't physical beings you can go and find. Think of them more as an interdimensional, parasitic intelligence, a form of consciousness that, according to this theory, has been behind the scenes pulling the strings of human history for a very, very long time.
Okay, so why the prison? Why go to all this trouble? The book says it's not for punishment, it's a farm. And yeah, you guessed it, we're the livestock. The crop they're harvesting is something called Loosh, which is described as the raw emotional energy that we humans produce, specifically the negative stuff, fear, anger, sorrow, suffering. That, the book claims, is their food source. Now this is where things get really fascinating, because the evidence for all of this, according to the book, isn't buried in some ancient ruin or hidden in a secret manuscript. No, it says the proof is inside every single one of us. The argument is that the human body is this incredible piece of divine technology that has been deliberately, well, downgraded.
Let's start with the heart. We're all taught in school that it's a mechanical pump, right? It just pushes blood around. Well, the book says that's a massive oversimplification, a lie even. It claims the heart is actually this highly sophisticated helical vortex engine. It doesn't just push blood, it twists and pulls it in a spiral, and in doing so, it generates a powerful electromagnetic field that literally extends out from our bodies.
And here's why that's so important. The book claims our hearts are basically organic receivers, perfectly designed to tune into the Earth's own natural frequency, the Schumann resonance, which vibrates at 7.83 Hertz. The idea is that we aren't supposed to be these isolated little systems. We're actually built to be in constant resonant harmony with the planet itself.
Then it takes a look at the ancient Chakra system. But it reframes it, not as some abstract spiritual concept, but as a literal engineering blueprint for our bodies. I mean, look at this. Each major chakra lines up perfectly with a major nerve plexus, a bundle of nerves, and an endocrine gland, which produces hormones. The book says these are basically energy transformers, designed to convert subtle energy into real biological action.
So if we're equipped with all this incredible biological hardware, why don't we feel like gods? Why aren't we walking around with these amazing abilities? The book's answer is pretty chilling. It's because, it claims, there has been a long, systematic, and brutal war waged against our consciousness. A war designed specifically to keep us disconnected and unaware of our true potential.
And it lays out this whole timeline of suppression. It starts way back with a global cataclysm over 12,000 years ago that it calls the Great Downgrade. Then it moves through history, pointing to how organized state religions systematically wiped out older Gnostic knowledge. And it brings us all the way into the 20th century, framing things like the CIA's infamous MKUltra program as just the latest scientific attempt to fracture and control the human mind. Okay, so how do you possibly fight back against something like that? A war that's being waged inside your own head. The solution the book offers isn't about fighting in the streets, it's about a revolution within yourself. This process is called the Great Work, and it's all about systematically taking back control of your own internal state.
The core strategy is actually incredibly simple, but also really profound. You starve the parasite. If this whole system feeds on our negative, chaotic emotions, on our Loosh, then the single most powerful weapon we have is to simply stop producing it. It's about achieving what the book calls energetic sovereignty. The battlefield isn't out there, it's your own nervous system.
And it doesn't just leave you hanging. It gives you a practical toolkit for how to do this. It outlines these simple but scientifically validated methods for strengthening your nervous system's resilience, what's known as improving your vagal tone. Things you can do right now, like slow, rhythmic breathing with a really long exhale, or even just a quick blast of cold water on your face. Even just humming a tune can physically stimulate your vagus nerve, which basically acts as a brake on your stress response.
cutting off that supply of chaotic energy.
But just when you think you've got this whole thing figured out, prison, parasites, Loosh, the great work, the book hits you with one final, absolutely mind-bending question. What if this isn't a prison we were thrown into against our will? What if it's a gymnasium, a divine training ground that we, on some higher level, actually designed for ourselves to supercharge our own evolution? And that final twist, that reframing, well, it changes everything, doesn't it? Something to think about.